Good evening, Master Duel fans. James Polk here. We gotta say, great throwdown epic matchup for you guys. My Charmer's taking on Traptrix. And so, for the Prosperity, opponent chooses Shade, summons Dionea, sets 2, Link summons into Traptrix Sera. Now, Traptrix Sera is the star attraction of Traptrix. How does this work? One non-link Traptrix monster to make it. Link summon is unaffected by traps in general. Each effect of Sera once per turn and not during the damage step. If a normal trap card is triggered, it doesn't matter who triggers a normal trap. Special one Traptrix from the deck with a different name than the cards you control. And if your other Traptrix monster effect triggers, set one whole normal trap straight from the deck. So basically in this context is where if I don't get rid of Sera in any shape or form, basically that says that the Traptrix player is going to take advantage of the whole entire board state. Now Traptrix Rafflesia here, another star attraction of Traptrix. Unaffected by traps while it has material. Traptrix monsters, except Rafflesia, can't be killed by battle or effects, and your opponent cannot target them. And then once during either player's turn, detach one and send one whole normal trap card that meets its activation conditions from deck to graveyard. This effect becomes that trap card's effect when triggered. So how do I get out of this? It can't be simple. I just simply Dark Ruler, set 2, summon Lina. Now my opponent, for some reason, did not floodgate me this early on because I think that in this particular situation, it made me think if I summoned the lineup from the get-go, like the Traptrix player would immediately floodgate me right in this instance. But to be fair, I did have Dark Ruler in the open hand, so it made me think if I Dark Ruler on the same turn where the Traptrix player shouldn't activate Floodgate, but the Traptrix player knew what he was doing. So, Rafflesia triggered and Sera triggered. Due to Dark Ruler, none of this stuff happens. Lina hits Sera, obvious reasons. No more advantage for now. Summons Traptrix Mantis, getting Traptrix Vesiculo. Flips a Unpossessed. Now, at first, it made me think as soon as a Traptrix gets summoned, I immediately had to flip off Unpossessed on board. But as soon as I had to double take the reading of Traptrix Sera, it says normal trap card, and it doesn't matter what normal trap card triggers. So it made me think to myself, that's not what I really thought it was. So in this instance, I'd rather let the partnerships being set down this whole time. So, break off Trap Hole, Lina gets killed, Unpossessed triggers, summons Hita, and Sera summons Marmilla. And Traptrix Sera sets Grave Digger. Vesiculo, sending Floodgate. Exige Shokan, Traptrix Allomerus. Now, Allomerus here, 2+ level 4 monsters in order to make it. Unaffected by traps, while it has material, basically gimmick. Each effects once per turn. Detach 2 to reborn 1 level 4 inset or plant from your graveyard. If an opponent's monster leaves the field just because of your card effect and it is now in a grave or banished outside of the damage step, detach 1, target one of those, special it to the field. Reborn's Marmillo. Now in this instance, I chose not to chain partnerships because Traptrix Sera is a card. So the backup plan is to banish the partnerships, replace Unpossessed on board. Now, Traptrix Cularia, 2 insects and or plants to make it. Obviously, gimmick, unaffected by traps. Each of the following effect once per turn. After you activate a whole normal trap card, set it instead of sending it to the graveyard. So basically reset button, and then during your end phase, monster reborn a Traptrix in any shape or form in defense mode. And Cularia brings back Dionea. Dionea sets Floodgate. So Floodgate and Gravediggers. So first chance I get the full knowledge, it's basically I gotta have the alternative line by not summoning as much as I could because of the trap hole trap cards. So Hita over Rafflesia and just went to work from there. Cularia, bring back Mermillo. Mermillo pops Unpossessed, and Sera straight up sets Traptrix, Trap Hole Nightmare, which eventually I walked right into that one late game setup. And Gravedigger walked right into that one as well, but we'll get to that. So Floodgate, Trap Hole Trigger, which is the third and final unknown. Cularia reset buttons. And Sera summons Nepenthes. Hita over Cularia, no more Reborn Advantage. And no more reset buttons as well. Link off the two into another Traptrix Cularia. Cularia Reborns, Rafflesia. And Sera straight up sets Floodgate. So basically at this point, it's just literally no more summons from me on my end. So how do we get out of this jam? Activate partnerships, bring back Lina, kill the Rafflesia. I mean, sure, Sera triggers because of my normal trap just to let my opponent get the Atrax in terms of the advantage, but you know, at that rate, it's just no more summons for now. Hita over Cularia and Lina over Sera. No more reset buttons, no more reborns, no more advantage at that point. And lucky enough for me about how Cularia's 1800 attack is not good enough for the 1850s, because 1850s do indeed matter. Atrax linked off into Traptrix Sera for the third time in a row. Triggers Shea Brigadine. Traptrix Sera triggers. Gets out Dionea. Reset buttons. Bottomless Trap Hole. Tribute summons Radian, the multi-dimensional kaiju with 2800 attack. You know what they say, the unstoppable meets the immovable, yet unliftable in terms of battle or effects as of right now, because of the way how it's the board state looks like. Banish the partnerships, place back Unpossessed, Maxi dropped. Now, here's a life lesson. First chance I took the damage, by the way. Here's a life lesson to be learned in this situation. As a control deck, the moment Maxi drops, do not activate anything that involves special summoning, because give me your opponent cards is not that good in terms of advantage. So I chose not to activate Unpossessed because of Max C, and it was dropped on the opponent's turn on top of that. So the smartest thing to do is don't do anything. Drew into Breakthrough skill. We'll save that for a great use. Monster Reborns to Mermillo. Mermillo going after the farthest left of my side. Bottomless chain. Mermillo is unaffected based on gimmick, so it makes it so that Nepenthes and Sera are live. Summons Mermillo. Summons Jin Lisa, and then Mermillo pops, and then Sera straight up sets one once again. Network Trapple. Basically, I'm going to eventually walk right into at least one or two, maybe even three trap holes of sorts. So, Mermillo into Sera, no more advantage, and then Lina over again Lisa. Cool. In terms of damage, the 2 off into Ossa. Ossa attempt to steal Mermillo. Walk right into Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. Asa attempts to trigger. Gravedigger's trap hole. Walked right into it again, which is insane. And as a result, lost 2,000. Lightning Storm, late game setup, taking down the attack position monsters. Simplified game state. Set 1, pass. Breakthrough skill on Nepenthes to ensure that a trap hole would come up, which it did. Floodgate trap hole triggers, books Hita permanent, same with Asa. Nepenthes tried to trigger, breakthrough skill came through. Draws and pass. Breakthrough skill from graveyard once again to ensure no trap hole trap cards can occur. Normal summon win, special Gigabyte, and it's just straight up pass from there on out. Opponent draws, opponent passes. Draw to an Ash, and I said to myself, if I use the hand trap of Ash, Gravedigger will be met, which is the right suspicion. So normal summon Ash, win, link off into Artemis, Artemis and Gigabyte into Area, link off with Ash into Selene. At first, didn't know how many spell cards used for both players. Turns out it was 4. Summon the Hita off from Selene, and what do you know? Walked right into Network Trap Hole. Nepenthes, getting out the Mantis. Selene, run over Mantis. And that's the end of the turn for me, and Traptrix player scoops it up. I honestly do not know how on earth we walked away with that victory, but all I can say is that was an extra long grind game. Shout out to my Traptrix player, which is my opponent, of course. You played really, really well, but at the end of the day, stood alone on top. So tell me what you guys think on this extra grind fierce battle. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next battle.